If you've been shooting night photos for long, you know how important that blue hour blend is to getting a highly detailed image of the night sky, especially one that looks realistic. And if you're shooting with a tracker, you know that you need to do a blue hour blend. Now, in this video, I want to show you how I blend a little bit more complicated scene because I've talked about easier ones in the past where you can easily just cut out the sky. Let's talk about a little more complicated scene where something like a quick selection or a sky selection doesn't quite work good enough. And I'm going to show you exactly how I go about blending my blue hour images on those more complex scenes. And then we'll talk about a few of the common pitfalls that you may be falling into. I'm going to show you how to overcome that. So let's jump in. I've got both my images loaded in Photoshop. If you're following along, make sure you've got both your images loaded in too before you jump in. Okay, so you can see here, we've got this really cool Joshua tree and we've got our Milky Way behind it. We need to cut out this sky so that the Milky Way shines through and we want to make that look realistic. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I see right off the rip is people that go in and they just do a sky selection. Because I'll show you exactly what happens when you do a sky selection like this. You apply it as a layer mask, you invert it, and you're like, okay, that looks pretty good already, but it doesn't look realistic. Like, really, let's be real here. Look at this. This has like weird ghosting around it, like a weird blue little haze. It might be good enough, but you're not watching this video because you want good enough. You want pretty much perfect or as perfect as possible. You can see weird stuff going on down here. Problem is when you look at the sky selection, you can see it doesn't create a perfectly black and white mask. So I want to show you how you make that perfectly black and white mask. And it's not going to be using that sky selection, but it doesn't need to be super difficult. So if you've got a complicated scene like this, or really just any scene at all, this technique is going to work for just about any scene that you might have. So take your blue hour image and put it on top of your Milky Way photo, which is going to be below. And select your blue hour image and go up to select and go to color range. Now, you're going to change it to select sampled colors, and you're going to click on something in the foreground. Now, you can use select shadows, but I like select sampled colors a little bit better because in a scene like this, everything is about the same color here in the foreground. You can also just select the sky like that if that will work easier for you. Then what you'll do is you will go in and you'll adjust the fuzziness. Now in this photo, I'm going to select the tree. It's going to work a little bit better because what we're looking for is a difference between the tree and the background. If I select the background, you can see it starts to fade into the background there with the mask. Of course, this color range here, if you didn't know, this creates a mask of or a selection, which then is going to create a mask. So anything that's white will be selected, anything that's black will not. So we want the selection with the biggest difference between the foreground, the tree here, and the background, something like this. Now you can see that it isn't perfectly black and white, but I'm going to show you how to change this to perfectly black and white in just a second. But I just want to zoom in and make sure we're getting like a nice hard selection between the sky and the things in the foreground. And of course, we want to get these details back here. Everything looks pretty good. So what we're going to do here is actually just adjust the fuzziness until we start to make the background, the sky, a little bit too bright like this. We don't want the sky to be bright like that. So we'll bring this back down till that sky is nice and dark. Somewhere about in there, it looks good. Now we'll hit OK, let that load out. Now if we apply this as a selection here, and you can see it looks decent, but it actually probably looks worse than the sky selection because the problem is we don't have full transparency here. Of this cactus. You can see when I hold the shift button and click on the layer mask, you can see we're losing a little bit of the cactus here or the Joshua tree in this mask. So I'm going to hold option, click on the layer mask. You can see that we've brought this tree up. So we want to make sure the tree is completely white and the sky is completely black. So now what we're going to do to make our mask a little bit better here is actually go in with our brush tool here. You can hit B on the keyboard to grab the brush. And we're going to make sure the brush is at 100% opacity. I like the hardness as 0 and then the size, just adjust it to fit. Now you're going to change the mode of the brush to overlay. Make sure you change it up here on the menu bar, not over here. These are the layer modes. This is the brush mode, and we want to change that. Now when we use overlay, the cool thing is when we paint, if I paint black or white here, it will only increase. You won't be able to, like if I paint white on black, nothing will happen. I will only be able to change gray to white or black, but I can't change black to white or white to black. Now that's probably super confusing to listen to, but let me show you what I mean. I don't have to worry about painting over the edge. So I've got white selected, I'm on overlay, and I will just click on my cactus here. Now notice how it just paints inside the lines. I'm way over the lines here, but it is only painting inside the lines because I'm using that overlay blend mode. If I was to change this back to normal and I was to paint here, now you can see I'm way over the lines. So that's why we're going to use overlay, and we're just going to go through and click through here. Now, again, this is going to work on any like complex image, because you can just use this overlay trick on the most complex things, any trees, flowers, anything that's highly detailed. You can just go through and use this. So you'll click through. You may have to click a few times in some spots. Like you can see there's still some black spots here. I'll just click a few more times to remove those. And any spots that are completely black on your mask, you will have to go through and change back to normal and go back and adjust. But there shouldn't be too many black spots. We'll just go through here, paint this foreground, nice and easy. Perfect. And if you ever paint over, or there's something that you overdid, like if you click way too many times, well, you'll notice if I keep clicking down here, actually that still looks fine. But occasionally you'll click too many times and you'll have like a little bit of bleed over. You can just switch back to black and then click a few more times to prevent that bleed over. Now, and we'll go up here and paint in the sky just like that. Now we want to make sure that everything is completely black or completely white. So we're going to go Command L or Control L on PC to bring up our levels. And we're just going to bring these two bars in to each other. All that's going to do is ensure that everything is completely black or completely white on our mask, just like that. Now we'll go back. Now you can see much, much better. If I turn this off and turn it back on, you can see how we actually have a perfect selection, pretty much, of our foreground object here. Now, if you do have some weird things like this where you're noticing it's kind of a little pixely and you want to fix that, click on your layer mask here. And you are going to go in. Sometimes I will feather this by like just a little bit. You do too much and now you have this weird halo, but you can occasionally feather this just a little bit, like 1 pixel. And that just kind of reduces the sharpness of it, which usually will help it to look a lot better. Just reduce that sharpness a little bit. I think that's looking pretty realistic now, as opposed to before. It was very sharp and pixely. Now it's looking a little bit better. So I'm happy with that. Now we actually need to go through and blend this. So even though we have the sky cut out, the foreground cut out, we need to actually go through and make this blend look realistic. So there was a few things that I mentioned. One of the first things is the color doesn't look realistic and the brightness doesn't look realistic on this. Both the color is oversaturated, the color balance is wrong, and it's a little bit too bright. So we're going to go through and adjust that. Now this is going to be just like any other Blue Hour blend. I've got a couple other videos covering some simpler Blue Hour blends, but I'll show you exactly how to do it again. So you should be able to get most of your blending done with just a few simple adjustment layers. So click back on your Blue Hour layer, open your adjustment layer here. We are going to bring a brightness contrast layer, and I'm going to hit this button. Make sure your properties is open. If properties isn't open, go to view and scroll down. Go to window and scroll down to properties, and that should bring it up. If you already have it open and you click it, it will hide it, so bring it back up again. And then you're going to click this down arrow, this little square with a down arrow with a slash through it. I don't even know what you would call that, but you're going to click that. It should underline. Now when you adjust this, it will only affect your foreground layer. So I'm going to create all 3 layers before I do anything, but I'm going to do brightness contrast. We're going to do hue saturation with a down arrow, and then we're going to do color balance with a down arrow. Then I'm just going to match this photo to the sky. I'm going to try and make it look as matching as possible. Biggest thing I'm noticing here is there's like some weird blue tint to the tree that I'm not really liking. And so I want to fix that tint first. So that's going to be in color balance. So it needs to be a little more towards red and maybe a little bit towards magenta and then warm, and probably a little bit less magenta and a little bit less red. Warm that up a little bit. You can see it's getting too warm down here. So somewhere in there, it's going to be very subtle, the difference that this is going to make before and after, but that's okay. In reality, there shouldn't, in my opinion, there shouldn't be a lot of color or a lot of brightness in your foreground image. So if you're not too sold on the color balance, don't worry, go on to the other steps and then you can come back later. I'm going to bring the hue and saturation down just globally on this layer because again, there really shouldn't be too much hue or saturation to your foreground image, in my opinion. And then we'll grab our brightness contrast and we'll just bring the brightness down. And we're going to also just bring the contrast down. Now, if you are finding that you're kind of killing any detail that you might have here, which can happen, one thing that I'll do is bring up one more adjustment layer and just bring up curves. And it may automatically apply that drop down layer. If not, click right here. And I'll just bring this blacks point up and then bring the center of the curve down. This just kind of flattens the detail, but you can still see, if you're watching this on a nice monitor, you can probably see, we are equally as dark, but we've just kind of softened the details there. Now I can go back up to color balance and I can actually just toggle this and see if I like it. And I actually don't like the changes I made with color balance. So we're just going to go ahead and zero all these out. If you want to go back through and adjust it here, you can. This would get me off on the right foot to this edit. I mean, in my opinion, this already looks relatively realistic now. You can see our Milky Way layer. If I toggle this, nice little blend there. Super simple and easy. And then before we even made that selection, this is what it looked like. We made some basic adjustments. I will talk about one more thing that I think trips a lot of people up. This is another blue hour blend I have here. Don't mind these crazy weird stars going on here. But one of the biggest problems that you'll have with a photo like this, where things are very far away, is you'll have this haze, and the haze just doesn't look realistic. So what you're gonna do is just darken that haze down. Very, very easy to do. So we'll delete this layer, and we're just gonna recreate it ourselves, because these mountains should probably look pretty dark. There shouldn't be like weird haze in a certain spot. So if you have this haze in your photos, all you're gonna do is above your foreground layer, create a new layer. Make sure it has that down arrow. If you create it under all of your other layers, it will. And then you're gonna grab your black and white brush. Make sure you grab black. Make sure your blend mode on your brush is changed back to normal. And now this time, the blend mode of the layer is gonna be set to overlay. Now we'll adjust the opacity of our brush. I'm gonna go to about 10%. And now we're just gonna paint. This is just like dodging and burning on your photo. You can paint this down. And you can see I'm using kind of the edge of the brush just to make this a little extra feathered. And you can hit that right in there, just like that. Now you can paint to your heart's content. Some of this over here is maybe a little bright for me too. And so I'll just click and paint to reduce that. And you just want to be careful. I don't want to paint too much into the foreground. I just kind of want to blend this here. Again, I'm not too worried about what the final edit looks like, but I'm just painting on these mountains just a little bit to reduce the haze behind them, to help them look a little bit more realistic. So you can already see if I toggle this, it looks a little bit better. This spot might look a little dark there. If that's the case, all you got to do is simply blur this layer. I'm going to go up to filter, going to go down to blur, and I'm going to go to Gaussian blur. Then I can increase the blur in order to just affect that really small area. Somewhere usually just shy of 100 pixels is probably good, or maybe around 100 pixels. That'll just make it a little bit softer in there. So now you can see before and after. Looks a lot more realistic. So super simple and quick and easy trick that you can use if you ever have like a little bright spot. Just use that overlay blend mode layer. Make sure it just applies to the foreground. You can also just put a foreground mask on it as well. So that's how I go about blending my complicated blue hour blends and some of the major problems that you might have with your blends to where they don't look realistic. So if you're struggling with a blend, hopefully this helps. Now, if it did, let me know down below in the comments and do me a favor by subscribing to the channel as a little way to say thank you. I would really, really appreciate that because I truly hope this helps. If this didn't help you, let me know down below in the comments what kind of issues you're dealing with, and hopefully I'll be able to respond and help you guys out. But otherwise, my name's Austin Jackson, and I greatly appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.